You know what they don't tell you about starting over? It's not the big failures that break you. It's the small ones. The daily reminders that you're 49 years old and sleeping on a mattress that smells like bleach, eating rice from a plastic bag, wondering if the water you're drinking is going to make you sick. I thought teaching English in Thailand would be my second chance. I thought I'd figured it out. Turns out, I didn't know the first thing about survival. Not the kind they don't teach you in orientation videos. If our stories resonate with you, don't forget to like, comment, and tell us where you're watching from. I step off the plane in Bangkok, and the heat hits me like opening an oven door. 49 years old, and I'm sweating through my button-down shirt before I even clear customs. But I'm smiling. I'm actually smiling for the first time in months. The divorce papers are sitting in a Phoenix attorney's office. My teacher's pension is liquidated, and everything I owned for 23 years is either sold or in storage. But I'm smiling because I finally did it. I finally escaped. The taxi driver doesn't speak English, but he knows where I'm going. I show him the address on my phone, and he nods. I watch Bangkok blur past the window, neon signs in languages I can't read, street food vendors, motorcycles weaving through traffic like they're dancing. This is it. This is my second chance. At 49, most men are settling into their decline. Me, I'm starting over. You, teacher? The driver asks in broken English. Yes, I say. English teacher? He smiles and nods approvingly. In Thailand, teachers are respected. Back in Arizona, I was just another divorced, middle-aged man with a mortgage and a drinking problem. Here, I'm going to matter again. I'm going to help people learn English, maybe write a book about my experiences, maybe even find love with someone who sees me as more than just damaged goods. The apartment building looks nothing like the photos online. The lobby smells like cooking oil and something else I can't identify. The elevator makes sounds like it's going to break down between floors. But I tell myself this is character. This is authentic Thailand, not some sanitized expat bubble. I wanted adventure. And this is what adventure looks like. My landlord meets me at the apartment door. His name is Somchai, and his English is about as good as my Thai, which is non-existent. The apartment is smaller than I expected, much smaller. The fully furnished description apparently meant a mattress on the floor, a plastic chair, and a mini fridge that sounds like it's dying. There's no real kitchen, just a hot plate. The bathroom has a toilet, a sink, and a hose attached to the wall that I guess is the shower. Hot water? I ask, pointing to the hose. Somchai laughs and shakes his head. No hot water. Cold water, good for hot weather. He shows me how to work the electrical outlets, which require adapters I don't have. He explains something about the air conditioning unit, but I understand maybe every third word. When he leaves, I sit on the plastic chair and look around my new home. This is temporary, I tell myself. Once I start teaching and get my bearings, I'll find something better. That first night, I lie on the mattress that smells like industrial cleaning products, listening to sounds I've never heard before. Motorcycles revving at all hours. Someone singing karaoke until 3 in the morning. Dogs barking. The city never sleeps, and apparently, neither will I. I think about my empty house in Phoenix, with its silent suburban streets and central air conditioning. For a moment, I wonder what the hell I'm doing here. But then I remember Sharon's face when she told me she wanted a divorce. The way she looked at me like I was already dead. "You're not living, Bradley," she'd said. "You're just existing, and I can't exist with you anymore. So here I am, living, or trying to. The teaching job starts Monday. I have the weekend to get oriented, buy some basic supplies, and figure out how to function in this city. I walk to the 7-Eleven down the street and realize I don't know how to ask for anything. The clerk speaks no English. I point at things I need: toothpaste, bottled water, instant noodles. She punches numbers into a calculator to show me the total. I give her a 1,000 baht note and have no idea if the change she gives me is correct. Back in my apartment, I eat instant noodles with a plastic fork and try to connect to the Wi-Fi. The password is written in Thai characters I can't read. I spend an hour trying different combinations before giving up. I'm completely cut off from the world, sitting in a hot box that smells like bleach, eating processed food, wondering if I've made the biggest mistake of my life. Sunday morning, I decide to explore the neighborhood. I need coffee, real coffee, not the instant stuff from 7-Eleven. I find a small cafe near what looks like a university campus. It's full of young Thai students with laptops and textbooks. I stand at the counter, staring at a menu written entirely in Thai, feeling like an idiot. "Excuse me," says a voice behind me. "Do you need help with the menu?" I turn around and see her for the first time. She's sitting alone at a table covered with business textbooks, looking at me with a mixture of amusement and kindness. Beautiful in that effortless way that makes you forget where you are. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing a simple white t-shirt and jeans, no makeup, completely natural. "I'm sorry," I say. "I just arrived from America, and I don't speak any Thai." "American," she says, smiling. "I thought so. Your accent." She stands up and walks to the counter with me. "What do you want to drink?" "Just coffee, black coffee." She orders for me in Thai, then turns back. "Are you here for vacation?" "No, actually. I'm going to be teaching English, starting tomorrow." Her eyes light up. "Really? That's wonderful. Thailand needs good English teachers." She pays for my coffee before I can object. We sit at her table, and I learn her name is Niran. She's 25, studying business at the university, originally from Phuket. Her English is better than my Thai will ever be. "What made you want to teach in Thailand?" she asks. I could tell her about the divorce, about feeling like a failure, about needing to escape everything familiar. Instead, I say, I wanted an adventure. I wanted to help people. "That's very noble," she says. "Most foreigners who come here are just looking for cheap beer and easy women." She laughs when she says this, but there's something sharp in her eyes. A test, maybe. "I'm not most foreigners," I say. "I can see that," she says. "You seem different." We talk for 2 hours. She asks about America, about teaching, about my life. I ask about Thailand, about her studies, about her family in Phuket. She's smart, articulate, and genuinely interested in the conversation. When I try to speak Thai phrases, she corrects my pronunciation patiently, laughing at my attempts but not cruelly. "Would you like to see more of Bangkok?" she asks as I'm getting ready to leave. "I could show you around." "As friends, of course." She gives me her phone number and tells me to call her after I finish my first day of teaching. Walking back to my apartment, I feel something I haven't felt since before the divorce. Hope. Maybe this isn't just about survival. Maybe this is about actually living. Monday morning, I show up at the English school wearing my best shirt and tie, ready to inspire young minds. The building is older than I expected, with ceiling fans instead of air conditioning and windows that don't close properly. My classroom is on the 3rd floor, and by the time I climb the stairs in this heat, I'm already sweating. The administrator, Miss Pracha, gives me a quick tour. "Your students are beginners," she says. "Very basic English. You teach them alphabet, simple words, conversation." She hands me a stack of photocopied worksheets that look like they're from 1995. "These are your materials. Any questions?" I have about 100 questions, but she's already walking away. My first class is 15 teenagers who look like they'd rather be anywhere else. The classroom has no air conditioning, just 2 ceiling fans that barely move the humid air. I introduce myself and try to start with basic conversation. "Hello, my name is Bradley," I say. "What's your name?" They stare at me blankly. A few giggle. One boy in the back is sleeping. I try again, speaking slower. My name is Bradley. Your name? More giggling. A girl in the front row says something in Thai that makes the whole class laugh. I have no idea what she said, but I get the feeling it wasn't complimentary. By noon, I'm drenched in sweat and completely demoralized. The students don't understand me, I don't understand them, and the materials are useless. I try to ask Miss Pracha for help, but she just smiles and says, "You do fine. Is normal first day." I call Niran during my lunch break. "How was teaching?" "How was teaching?" she asks. Challenging, I say, which is the most diplomatic word I can think of. "Maybe we could have dinner tonight?" she suggests. "I know a good place for somtam." "You like spicy food?" I have no idea what somtam is, but I desperately need something to look forward to. "I'd love that." She meets me at a street food stall near my apartment. The cook is an old woman who greets Niran like family and eyes me with curiosity. Niran orders for both of us, and we sit on plastic stools at a tiny table. "This is somtam," she says, pointing to a salad that looks like it could kill me. "Papaya salad, very spicy." I take a bite and my mouth catches fire. She laughs at the expression on my face and orders me a Thai iced tea to cool the burn. "So how was your first day, really?" she asks. I tell her about the broken air conditioning, the outdated materials, the language barrier with my students. She listens without judgment, occasionally nodding. "Teaching in Thailand is different from America," she says. "Here, students are shy. They don't want to make mistakes in front of others. You have to be patient." "Were you like that when you were learning English?" I ask. "Oh yes," she says. "Very shy. But I had a good teacher. She made me feel safe to try. She gives me advice about classroom management, about Thai culture, about making the students comfortable. For the first time since arriving, I feel like someone understands what I'm going through." After dinner, she insists on walking me home even though it's out of her way. At my building entrance, she touches my arm gently. "Tomorrow will be better," she says. "And if you need help with anything, shopping, directions, understanding Thai culture, you can call me." Standing in my hot, lonely apartment afterward, I realize I haven't felt this cared for in years. Sharon used to listen to my problems, but toward the end, it was more like she was waiting for me to stop talking so she could list all the ways I was failing. Niran actually wants to help. Tuesday's classes go slightly better, mostly because I lower my expectations. Instead of trying to teach grammar, I focus on simple vocabulary words. I bring pictures from magazines and have the students repeat basic words. Apple, car, house, happy. It's not exactly inspiring education, but at least they're participating. Niran texts me during lunch. "How is teaching today?" "Better?" I text back. "Getting there. Slowly. Would you like to go to Chatuchak market this weekend? I can show you where to buy everything you need for apartment." I need everything for my apartment. I've been sleeping on that smelly mattress, eating instant noodles, wearing the same 3 shirts. But more than that, I need someone who cares whether I'm surviving here. Saturday morning, she picks me up in a taxi, and we head to the market. It's enormous, thousands of stalls selling everything imaginable. Without Niran, I would have been completely lost. She translates prices, negotiates with vendors, explains what everything is. We buy a pillow, sheets that don't smell like chemicals, a rice cooker, proper plates and utensils. "You need Thai phone plan," she says at one electronics stall. "Very cheap, and then you can use internet." She helps me set up a local phone number and data plan. Suddenly, I'm connected to the world again. I can Google Translate things, look up directions, contact people. At a clothing store, she picks out shirts that will work better in the heat. "Cotton," she explains. "Polyester too hot for Thailand weather." I offer to buy her something as a thank you, but she waves me off. I'm just being friendly. In Thailand, we help guests. We stop for lunch at a food court, inside the market. She orders several dishes and teaches me how to eat Thai food properly, how to balance the flavors, how to use the condiments, how to handle the spice. "You're very kind to help me like this," I tell her. "You're very far from home," she says. Everyone needs help sometimes. There's something in the way she says it that makes me wonder about her own struggles. She's always put together, always positive. But I catch glimpses of something else. Tiredness, maybe, or worry. "What about you?" I ask. "Do you need help with anything?" She smiles and shakes her head. "I'm fine. Thai people are very independent." But later, as we're walking through the market, she stops at a pharmacy and buys some medication. I see her checking the price carefully before paying. "Everything okay?" I ask. "Just vitamins," she says quickly. That evening, she helps me set up my new purchases in my apartment. The place actually starts to feel livable with proper bedding and kitchenware. She shows me how to use the rice cooker, where to buy the best vegetables in my neighborhood, which taxis to trust, and which to avoid. "This is much better," she says, looking around the transformed space. "Now it feels like home." "Thanks to you," I say. "I couldn't have done this alone." "Everyone needs help when they first arrive," she says. "When I first came to Bangkok from Phuket for university, I was so lost. A kind person helped me, so now I help you." She's sitting on my new sheets, looking comfortable in my space, and I realize I'm developing feelings for her. She's beautiful, yes, but more than that, she's the first person in years who seems to genuinely care about my well-being. Not what I can do for her, not what I represent, just me as a person, trying to figure out his life. "Niran." I start, not sure what I want to say. She looks at me with those dark eyes, and for a moment, the air between us shifts. There's a possibility hanging there, unspoken but real. Then her phone buzzes. She checks it, and her expression changes. "I should go," she says, standing up quickly. "Early classes tomorrow." She gathers her things and heads for the door, but pauses at the threshold. "Bradley," she says softly, "thank you for today. I had fun." After she leaves, I lie on my new sheets in my slightly less depressing apartment and allow myself to imagine what it might be like to not be alone here. To have someone who understands this place, who could help me build a real life instead of just surviving day to day. I'm probably being stupid. She's 25 and beautiful and smart. I'm a 49-year-old divorced man with no money and no plan. But she seems to enjoy my company. She seems to care. And after 3 years of Sharon treating me like a burden, that feeling is intoxicating. The next few weeks fall into a routine. I struggle through my teaching days, slowly getting better at managing the classroom chaos. The students warm up to me a little, not because I'm a great teacher, but because I'm clearly trying so hard that they feel sorry for me. It's not the inspiring educator role I'd imagined, but it's progress. Most evenings, Niran and I meet for dinner or coffee. She becomes my guide to everything: where to buy groceries, how to navigate the bus system, what to do when I get sick from street food. We talk about everything and nothing. She tells me about her business classes, her dreams of working for an international company. I tell her about America, about teaching, about the books I've read and places I've traveled. "Have you ever been married?" she asks one evening. "Yes," I say. "It didn't work out." "I'm sorry," she says. "Divorce is sad." "Sometimes it's for the best," I say, though I'm not sure I believe that anymore. "Do you want to marry again someday?" The question catches me off guard. "I don't know. Maybe. If I found the right person." She nods thoughtfully. "Thai women are very good wives," she says, not quite looking at me. "Very loyal. Very caring." There's something in her voice that makes my heart skip. Is she hinting at something? Or am I reading too much into innocent conversation? A month into our friendship, she starts staying later at my apartment. We watch Thai movies with English subtitles. She teaches me card games. Sometimes she falls asleep on my couch and I cover her with a blanket, watching her sleep peacefully and wondering what it would be like to wake up next to her every morning. One evening, she's helping me grade papers when she suddenly gets quiet. "Bradley," she says, "can I tell you something personal?" "Of course." "My family in Phuket, they're having some financial problems. My father, he's sick, diabetes. The medical bills are very expensive." I set down the papers and give her my full attention. "I'm sorry to hear that. My mother, she works very hard, but it's not enough. And my younger sister, she wants to go to university next year, but we don't have money." Tears start forming in her eyes. Real tears. I feel so guilty being here in Bangkok studying when my family needs help, but if I quit university, I can never help them in the future. "You shouldn't feel guilty for trying to build a better life," I say. "I know," she says, wiping her eyes. "But it's hard. Sometimes I think about quitting school and going home to work." "How much do they need?" I ask without thinking. She looks surprised. "Oh, no. I wasn't asking for money. I needed to tell someone. You're the only person here who really listens to me." "I know you weren't asking," I say, "but if there's a way I can help." "You're so kind," she says, taking my hand, "but I could never accept money from you. We're friends." "Friends help each other," I say. "You've helped me so much since I arrived. Let me help you." She hesitates, then shakes her head. "No, it wouldn't be right." But I can see her considering it. I can see the relief in her eyes at the possibility of not carrying this burden alone. "How much does your father need for medical bills?" I press. 50,000 baht, she says quietly. "But Bradley, no. I can't ask this from you. 50,000 baht is about $1,500. I have that. I came to Thailand with my entire pension converted to savings, about $60,000 total, 1,500 to help the family of someone who's become so important to me. It seems like nothing. I want to help," I say. "Not because I expect anything, but because you're important to me." She starts crying harder. "You're too good to me. You're the best thing that's happened to me since I got here." I say, and I mean it. She hugs me then. Really hugs me, and I smell her hair and feel her warmth and think, maybe this is it. Maybe this is why I came to Thailand. Not to teach English, but to find someone who needs me as much as I need them. The next day, I go to the bank and transfer 50,000 baht to her account. She cries when I show her the receipt. "I will pay you back," she promises, "every baht. Don't worry about it," I say. "Just focus on your studies." That night, she kisses me, soft and grateful and warm. It's the first time I've been kissed in over a year, and I feel like a teenager again. "Thank you," she whispers. "You saved my family." We don't sleep together that night, but she stays in my bed, curled up against me, and I feel more content than I have in years. This is what I was missing in my marriage. The feeling of being needed, of being valuable to another person. Over the next month, our relationship deepens. She stays over most nights. We cook together, shop together, talk about the future. She shows me photos of her family and tells me stories about growing up in Phuket. I tell her about my dreams of maybe opening my own English school someday, of writing a book about living in Thailand. "You could do that," she says encouragingly. "You understand Thai culture now, not like other foreigners." I start paying for everything when we go out. Dinners, shopping, small gifts. She protests at first, but I insist. I want to take care of her. I want to be the provider I never quite was in my marriage. "Thai men don't have money like American men," she explains one evening. "Thai women, We have to work very hard just to survive. I understand. I'm not just her boyfriend. I'm her security. And that feels good. It feels important. But then the requests start coming more frequently. Bradley, she says one morning, my sister, she needs money for university application fees. Just 5,000 baht. I give it to her without question. A week later, my mother's house needs repairs before rainy season. 10,000 baht. Another week, my father needs special medicine not covered by insurance. 8,000 baht. Each time, she cries real tears. Each time, she promises to pay me back. Each time, I tell her not to worry about it. What's money compared to love? But I'm starting to notice things. How she always brings up money problems after we've had a particularly good day together. How she seems to know exactly how much everything costs when we're shopping. How she has other foreign men's numbers in her phone that she explains away as just friends from university. One afternoon, I'm looking at my bank balance online and realize I've given her almost $20,000 in 3 months. My savings are dropping faster than I expected. The teaching job barely covers my rent and basic expenses. At this rate, I'll be broke in 6 months. That evening, I try to bring up money. Niran, I say carefully, I've been thinking about our finances. Her expression immediately becomes guarded. What do you mean? I love helping your family, but I need to be careful with my own budget. Maybe we could make a plan for how much I can help each month. You think I'm using you for money? She asks, and there are tears again. No, I say quickly. That's not what I meant. I just need to make sure I don't run out of savings. Maybe I should go back to Phuket, she says. Maybe you don't want me here anymore. Of course I want you here, I say. I love you. It's the first time I've said it out loud. She looks surprised, then relieved. I love you too, she says. But I understand if I'm too much trouble. You're not trouble, I say, pulling her close. We'll figure it out. But that night, lying next to her, I can't shake the feeling that something isn't quite right. The timing of her requests, the way she deflects questions about money, the other foreign men in her phone. It all adds up to something I don't want to acknowledge. The next month, the requests become more urgent. Her grandmother is in the hospital. Her sister needs money for textbooks. The family business is failing. Each crisis requires immediate funds, and each time, I find myself at the ATM, watching my account balance shrink. I start lying to myself, telling myself this is temporary, telling myself her family really is having all these emergencies, telling myself this is what love looks like, sacrifice, support, partnership. But I also start noticing other things, how she always has new clothes, despite her financial problems, how she never offers to pay for dinner, even small amounts, how she changes the subject whenever I ask about her friends or what she does when we're not together. One evening, she's in the shower and her phone keeps buzzing. I glance at it and see messages in Thai from a contact listed as Robert. I don't read them. I'm not that kind of person, but the curiosity gnaws at me. Later that night, when she's asleep, I carefully take her phone to the bathroom and use Google Translate on the messages from Robert. Did you get the money from the American yet? This one is easier than the last. He's very lonely. Remember, small amounts first, then bigger requests. My hands are shaking as I scroll up. Messages from other foreign names, David, Frank, Kevin. All similar conversations about money, about what each man will pay for, about who is easy and who is finished. I find photos she's sent to these other men, the same intimate photos she sent to me. Messages arranging dates, promising exclusive relationships, asking for help with the same family emergencies she told me about. The bathroom floor feels like it's tilting. I grip the sink and try to breathe. Everything, every sweet word, every tender moment, every tear about her family, has been calculated. I'm not her boyfriend. I'm her job. I slip the phone back beside her sleeping form and sit in my plastic chair, staring at her in the dark. She's beautiful even while she's sleeping. Even now that I know the truth, part of me wants to pretend I never saw those messages. Part of me wants to wake her up and demand an explanation. Part of me wants to pack my bags and get on the first flight back to Phoenix. Instead, I sit there until dawn, watching her sleep, trying to figure out how I became such an easy mark. In the morning, she wakes up cheerful and affectionate, just like always. "Good morning, darling," she says, kissing my cheek. "Did you sleep well?" "Fine." I lie. She makes coffee, and we sit together like we have every morning for months. She talks about her classes, asks about my teaching plans for the day. Everything is normal except that I can barely look at her without feeling sick. "Bradley," she says, putting down her coffee cup, "I need to ask you something difficult." Here it comes. Another crisis, another family emergency, another reason I need to open my wallet. "My cousin is getting married next month," she says. "The family needs money for the wedding. It's very important in Thai culture. If we can't contribute, we lose face." "How much?" I ask flatly. 30,000 baht, she says, not meeting my eyes. I know it's a lot, but weddings are very expensive. And my family. "Your family that's had 15 different emergencies in 3 months?" She looks up sharply. "What do you mean?" "Medical bills, university fees, house repairs, grandmother's funeral, business problems, and now a wedding. Your family has the worst luck in Thailand." "Bradley, why are you being mean to me? Am I being mean? Or am I finally asking reasonable questions?" She starts to cry, right on cue. "I thought you understood Thai culture. Family is everything here. If I don't help them, they'll disown me. And if I don't help you help them." "What are you saying?" she whispers. I could confront her about the phone messages. I could lay out the evidence and demand the truth. Instead, I hear myself saying, "I'll transfer the money this afternoon." Her tears dry up instantly. "Really? Thank you, darling. You're so good to me." She kisses me and goes to get dressed for class. I watch her putting on makeup, styling her hair, preparing to face the world, and I realize she probably does this same routine before meeting David or Frank or Kevin. Maybe she tells them I'm just a friend. Maybe she cries to them about different family emergencies. After she leaves, I check my bank balance. $28,000 left. At the current rate, I have maybe 4 months before I'm completely broke. 4 months to figure out what happens when an easy mark runs out of money. That afternoon, I transfer the wedding money. When Niran comes over that evening, she's more affectionate than usual. Grateful. She cooks my favorite Thai dish and wears the dress I bought her last week. "I've been thinking," she says over dinner. "Maybe someday you could meet my family. They want to thank you for everything you've done." "I'd like that." I lie. "They think you're very generous," she says. "Very kind. They hope maybe we could be serious someday." She's looking at me meaningfully, and I realize she's talking about marriage, the ultimate score. A foreign husband who will support not just her, but her entire extended family for life. That's a big step. I manage to say, "I know," she says, "but I love you, and you love me. Why wait? Why wait indeed? Why not marry a woman who sees me as an ATM with feelings? Why not spend the rest of my life being bled dry by manufactured crises and family emergencies that may or may not exist?" "Let's see how things go," I say. She looks disappointed but nods. Of course, no pressure. But there is pressure. I can feel it in the way she touches me, the way she talks about the future, the way she mentions other foreign men who married Thai women and are so happy now. That night, she's particularly passionate in bed, and I hate myself for enjoying it even though I know it's performance. Everything is performance. The tears, the gratitude, the affection, the sex, all carefully calibrated to keep the money flowing. The next morning, I wake up before her and lie there staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out my options. I could confront her and end this relationship. I could go back to Arizona with my tail between my legs. I could find a cheaper place to live and try to stretch my remaining money. Or I could keep playing along, keep paying for the illusion of love until my savings run out, and she moves on to the next lonely foreign man. The pathetic truth is that even knowing what she is, I don't want to let her go. She's the only good thing in my life here. Without her, I'm just a failed teacher in a hot apartment, slowly going crazy from isolation and cultural confusion, so I keep paying. Wedding expenses become hospital bills, become business loans, become travel costs for job interviews. Each request comes with tears and explanations and promises to pay me back as soon as possible. My bank balance drops to 20,000, then 15, then 10. The teaching job covers rent and food, barely. I start eating instant noodles again, skipping meals, walking everywhere to save money on transportation. Niran doesn't seem to notice my declining financial situation. She still expects nice dinners, shopping trips, gifts. When I suggest we stay in and cook instead of going to restaurants, she pouts. "You're not fun anymore," she says. "Before, you wanted to take care of me. I still want to take care of you," I say. "But I need to be careful with money." "Maybe you don't love me anymore," she says, and the tears start. I'm trapped. If I don't spend money on her, she's unhappy. If I do spend money, I go broke faster. Either way, this relationship has an expiration date. One evening, I'm grading papers when she comes over crying harder than I've ever seen. "Bradley," she sobs. "Something terrible happened." "What's wrong?" "I borrowed money from a bad man. For my family. He wants it back with interest, and if I don't pay, he'll hurt me." My blood goes cold. "How much?" 60,000 baht. "But the interest makes it 80,000. I stare at her. 80,000 baht is about $2,400. It would wipe out the rest of my savings completely. "You borrowed money from a loan shark. I didn't know he was dangerous." She sobs. "My cousin introduced me. She said it was safe. But now he's threatening me." "Can't your family help?" "They don't have that kind of money. You know that." "Of course they don't. Her family never has money for their own crises, but somehow they always need money from me for new ones." "I'm scared, Bradley," she whispers. "Really scared. He said he knows where I live, where I go to school." Real fear in her voice. Real tears. Either she's a better actress than I thought, or this crisis might actually be genuine. "Let me think about it," I say. "There's no time to think," she says. "He wants the money tomorrow." Tomorrow. Always urgent, always immediate, always no time to make rational decisions. I look at my bank balance online. $8,300. If I give her the money for the loan shark, I'll have maybe enough for 2 months of rent and food. After that, I'll be completely broke in a foreign country with no way home. But if I don't give her the money and something happens to her, "Okay," I hear myself saying, "I'll get the money." She throws her arms around me, sobbing with relief. "Thank you. Thank you. I knew you would save me." The next morning I withdraw almost everything I have left and hand her a stack of 1,000 baht notes. She counts them carefully, then kisses me gratefully. "You saved my life," she says. "I will never forget this." She leaves to pay the loan shark, and I sit in my apartment, looking at my bank balance. $2,300 left. Maybe 6 weeks of survival if I'm careful. That evening she comes back relieved and happy. "It's done," she says. "He won't bother me anymore." We celebrate with dinner at an expensive restaurant. She orders wine, appetizers, dessert. The bill is $60. The bill is $60. Almost 2% of everything I have left in the world. But she's safe, and that's what matters. "I have good news," she says over dessert. I might have a job opportunity. My professor knows someone at an international company. They need English speakers. That's wonderful, I say, genuinely happy for her. If I get the job, I can start paying you back, she says. All the money you've given me. You've been so patient. Hope flickers in my chest. Maybe this is the turning point. Maybe now that her crisis is resolved, we can build something real together. But 2 weeks later, she doesn't get the job. Something about not having enough experience. And the next week brings a new emergency. Her mother is sick and needs expensive medicine not covered by insurance. I know I just asked for help with the loan shark, she says, crying again. But this is my mother. I can't let her suffer. How much? I ask, though I already know the answer will be more than I have. 15,000 baht. $500. It would leave me with maybe a month of rent money. Niran, I say carefully, I'm almost out of money. I've given you everything I can. She looks shocked. But you're American. Americans always have money. Not this American, I say. I came here with my life savings, and most of it is gone. But your job pays barely enough for rent and food. You know that. She's quiet for a long moment. So you won't help my mother? I want to help, but I literally don't have the money. You could get a loan. Or ask your family in America to send money. My family doesn't have money either. And I can't get a loan here. I'm not a citizen. She stares at me like I've revealed something shocking and disappointing, like I've been lying about who I am this whole time. I thought you were different from other foreigners, she says finally. What do you mean, other foreigners? When they run out of money, they just leave. Go back to their country. Leave Thai women with nothing. I'm not going anywhere, I say. We'll figure this out together. But she's already gathering her things. I need to think, she says. My mother is depending on me. She leaves, and I don't hear from her for 3 days. I text her, call her, but she doesn't respond. I start to panic, not just about losing her, but about being alone in this country with no money and no plan. On the 4th day, she texts back, "Need space to think about us." I know what that means. I've become useless to her. The easy money has dried up, and now she's evaluating whether I'm worth keeping around for any other reason. A week goes by. My bank account drops below $2,000. I eat nothing but rice and instant noodles. I walk everywhere to save bus fare. I start selling my possessions. The clothes we bought together at Chatuchak Market, the rice cooker, anything of value. Finally, she agrees to meet me at the coffee shop where we first met. She looks different, distant, formal, like she's already mentally moved on. I've been thinking about us, she says without preamble. And? I think maybe we want different things. What do you mean? You want a girlfriend who doesn't need help. I need someone who can help my family. It's not working. I want to tell her I know about the other foreign men. I want to confront her about the phone messages, the calculated manipulation, the fake emergencies. Instead, I hear myself begging. I can find more work, I say. Private tutoring, freelance writing. I can make more money. She shakes her head. It's not just about money. Then what? You don't understand Thai culture. Family is everything here. If a man can't help his girlfriend's family, he's not a real boyfriend. I've given your family over $20,000 in 4 months. And I'm grateful, she says. But that was before. Now my mother is sick, and you can't help. She stands up to leave, then pauses. I hope we can still be friends. Friends, after everything we've shared, everything I've given her. I've been downgraded to friend status. What about all the money? I ask desperately. You said you'd pay me back. When I get a good job, maybe I can help you a little, she says. But you knew it was a gift, not a loan. She walks away, and I sit in that coffee shop staring at my hands, trying to process what just happened. The woman I thought loved me has just told me I'm not worth her time because I can't bankroll her family's problems anymore. I walk home in a daze. My apartment feels smaller and hotter than ever. I sit on my plastic chair and look around at my pathetic life. A mattress on the floor, a mini fridge that sounds like it's dying, instant noodle containers stacked in the corner. This is what starting over at 49 looks like. Over the next few days, I replay every moment of our relationship, trying to figure out what was real and what was performance. The way she laughed at my jokes, was that genuine? Or was she just keeping me happy? The way she held me at night, was she feeling something, or just ensuring I'd sleep well and be in a good mood for the next financial request? I start drinking more than I should. Cheap Thai whiskey that burns my throat and makes me feel even worse. I lie on my mattress during the day, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sounds of the city that never felt more foreign. My teaching suffers. I show up to class hungover and distracted. The students sense my misery and become even more restless. Parents start complaining about my performance. Miss Parents, Pracha calls me into her office. "Bradley," she says, "I'm sorry, but we're having problems with your teaching quality." "I'll do better," I say. "Some parents want different teacher. They say you seem sad, not energetic. I'm going through a difficult time, but I can improve." She looks genuinely sorry. "I try to keep you, but parents are very important if they're not happy." "Are you firing me?" "We finish this semester. Then we see." 3 weeks. I have 3 weeks left of the only income I have in this country. That night, I do the math. With my remaining savings and 3 more weeks of salary, I have enough money for maybe 2 months of basic survival, rent, food, water. After that, I'll be completely broke in a foreign country with no job, no visa, and no way home. I consider my options. I could call my brother in Phoenix and beg him to wire me money for a plane ticket. I could swallow my pride and admit complete failure. But then what? Go back to substitute teaching and living in some studio apartment, broke and humiliated. I could try to find another teaching job, but word travels fast in the expat community. If one school fired me for poor performance, other schools will hear about it. I could try to overstay my visa and work illegally, but that's a fast track to Thai prison and deportation. Or I could figure out how to actually survive here, not as a privileged expat living off savings, but as someone who earns his place every day. The next morning, I stop feeling sorry for myself and start getting practical. I make a list of everything I need to do to survive the next few months. Find cheaper housing, find any kind of income, learn enough Thai to function without a translator. I spend the day walking around my neighborhood looking for rent signs. Most of the places are still too expensive, but finally I find a tiny room above a motorcycle repair shop. End of loses. It's basically a closet with a window, just big enough for a mattress and a fan. The bathroom is shared with 3 other rooms. It smells like motor oil, and the noise from the shop below is constant. But it's 3,000 baht a month, instead of 8,000. The landlord speaks no English. I use Google Translate and hand gestures to negotiate. He wants first month's rent plus deposit. I count out the cash, another chunk of my dwindling savings, and he gives me a key. Moving is simple since I don't own much anymore. I carry my possessions in 2 garbage bags and set them down in my new home. The room is so small I can touch both walls with my arms spread. The mattress takes up most of the floor space. There's no air conditioning, just a ceiling fan that sounds like a helicopter. I lie down on the mattress and listen to the sounds of motorcycles being repaired below me. This is rock bottom. 49 years old, living in a closet above a garage in a foreign country, with less than $1,000 to my name. But for the first time in weeks, I feel something other than despair. I feel determined. The next day, I start looking for any kind of work. I can't legally teach without proper documentation, But there are other things foreigners can do under the table. I walk through the touristy areas, looking for bars or restaurants that might need English speakers. At a small guest house near Khao San Road, I meet the owner, a middle-aged Thai woman named Achara. She needs help with her website and dealing with English-speaking guests. The pay is minimal, 200 baht a day, about $6, but it's something. "You live where?" she asks when I give her my address. "Above, motorcycle shop." I say in broken Thai. She looks surprised. Most foreigners live in proper apartments with air conditioning. "You speak Thai a little bit?" "Very little," I admit. "Good," she says. "You learn more, I pay more." I start working at the guest house 3 days a week. The work is simple: checking in guests, answering emails, helping with basic translation. It's not enough to live on, but it's a start. On my off days, I look for other opportunities. I help a German expat move apartments and make 300 baht carrying boxes. I teach conversational English to a local business owner who wants to improve his skills with foreign customers. I help another foreigner fill out visa paperwork in exchange for a meal. Slowly, word spreads that there's an American who works cheap and doesn't act superior. I start getting small jobs, helping people with translations, accompanying Thai people to meetings with foreign businesses, doing basic computer work for small companies. None of these jobs pay much individually, but together they add up to enough to survive. I learn to live on $30 a day, food, transportation, basic necessities. It's not comfortable, but it's sustainable. My Thai improves out of necessity. When you can't afford to eat in tourist restaurants, you have to learn to order from street vendors who don't speak English. When your landlord doesn't understand you, you have to learn enough Thai to communicate about basic problems. The old Thai woman who sells me vegetables starts recognizing me. "Farang tam nan mak," she says approvingly. Foreign man works hard. It's not much, but it's recognition. My neighbor in the room next to mine is a Thai construction worker named Somchai. He's about my age. Divorced. Sending money to his kids in Aizen. We start talking in basic Thai-English mix, bonding over shared experiences of starting over later in life. Thailand hard for Thai people too, he tells me one evening as we sit outside the repair shop, drinking beer and watching the street. Not just hard for Farang. He teaches me practical things. Where to buy the cheapest food. Which buses to take. How to bargain with vendors. In return, I help him practice English phrases he needs for construction jobs with foreign contractors. One evening, he asks me, "You have Thai girlfriend before?" "Yes," I say, "but finished." He nods knowingly. "She want money?" "Yes. Many Thai women like that with Farang," he says. "But not all. Good Thai women work hard, same as men." "How do you know difference?" "Good woman, she help you. Bad woman, you help her only." It seems obvious now, but at the time, I was too lonely and desperate to see it clearly. 3 months into my new life, I'm walking through a local market when I see Niran. She's with another Western man. Older than me, better dressed, clearly wealthy. He's carrying multiple shopping bags while she points at things she wants. She looks happy and animated, just like she used to with me. She sees me and her expression freezes. For a moment, we just stare at each other across the crowded market. She says something to the man, then walks over to me. "Hello, Bradley," she says carefully. "Hello, Niran." We stand there awkwardly. She looks good, new clothes, new haircut, manicured nails. The kind of appearance that requires steady money. "How are you?" she asks. "I'm surviving." I say, "I heard you moved and lost your teaching job." News travels fast in the expat community. I'm doing other work now. She glances back at her new boyfriend, who's waiting impatiently by a jewelry stall. "I want you to know," she says quietly, "I did care about you. It wasn't all fake." "Which parts were real?" I ask. She thinks for a moment. "The conversations, the way you listened to me, The way you tried to understand Thai culture. That was real. But not the love. I don't know, she says honestly. Maybe I convinced myself it was real because it was easier that way. And now, I have to take care of my family, she says. This is my life. This is what I know how to do. Her new boyfriend calls to her in what sounds like German or Dutch. Rich European, probably retired, probably carrying around the same fantasies about Thailand that I used to have. I should go, she says. Take care of yourself, I say, and I mean it. You too, Bradley. You're a good man. I hope you find happiness here. She walks back to her boyfriend, links her arm through his, and disappears into the crowd. I stand there for a moment, waiting to feel heartbroken or angry or betrayed. Instead, I feel something like relief. That chapter of my life is finally closed. 6 months after moving to the tiny room above the repair shop, I've developed a routine that works. I wake up early, before the heat gets unbearable. I buy fresh fruit from the market woman who now knows my order. I check my phone for work messages. The network of small jobs has grown into a sustainable income stream. I help run the guesthouse website, teach English to 3 regular students, do translation work for a small export company, and help other expats with bureaucratic problems. None of these jobs alone would support me, but together they add up to about $800 a month, enough to live simply but comfortably. My Thai has improved to the point where I can have actual conversations with my neighbors. Somchai and I have become genuine friends. He includes me in his group of construction worker buddies who meet for drinks after work. They treat me like just another guy trying to get by, not like a curiosity or an ATM. One evening, a new expat shows up at the guest house where I work. He's about my age, recently divorced, carrying expensive luggage and wearing clothes that scream, fresh off the plane. He reminds me of myself a year ago. This is my first time in Thailand, he tells me as I check him in. I'm thinking of retiring here. I heard you can live like a king on a Western pension. It depends, I say carefully. On what? On what kind of life you want to live? He looks confused. What do you mean? I could tell him about the financial traps, the visa complications, the cultural misunderstandings, the loneliness, the women who see Western men as walking bank accounts. I could explain how quickly savings disappear when you're trying to buy happiness and belonging. Instead, I say, just be careful. Thailand is wonderful, but it's not a fantasy. It's a real place with real problems. But surely with a good pension and some savings. Money helps, I say. But it's not everything. He nods politely, but I can see he doesn't really understand. He's still living in the dream. Maybe that's necessary. Maybe you have to believe in the fantasy before you can learn to live with the reality. That night, I sit outside the repair shop with Somchai, drinking beer and watching the street life. A year ago, this would have felt like failure, a middle-aged man drinking cheap beer in a working-class neighborhood, worried about stretching $30 until next week. Now it feels like something else. Not success exactly, but authenticity. I'm not living someone else's idea of what my life should look like. I'm not trying to buy my way into belonging or pretending to be richer than I am. I'm just surviving honestly, one day at a time. You happy now? Somchai asks in his broken English. I think about it. I'm not happy the way I thought I'd be when I first arrived in Thailand. I don't have the comfortable expat lifestyle, or the beautiful girlfriend, or the successful teaching career. I live in a room the size of most people's closets and count every baht. But I'm not miserable either. I have work that matters to people. I have friends who accept me as I am. I have a place in this community, small but real. I'm okay. I tell Somchai. I'm learning. Learning what? How to live here. Really live here, not just visit. He nods approvingly. Good. Thailand not easy. But good if you work hard. A year and a half after arriving in Thailand with dreams of easy living and second chances, I finally understand what he means. This country doesn't owe me anything. It doesn't exist to fulfill my fantasies or solve my problems. It's just a place where people live and work and struggle and get by. Same as anywhere else. The difference is that now I'm one of those people. Not a tourist, not an expat living in a bubble, just someone who happens to be from America but has learned to make a life in Thailand. Someone who can bargain for vegetables in Thai, fix a broken motorbike, teach English to a restaurant owner who genuinely wants to improve his business. I think about the man I was when I stepped off that plane in Bangkok. Depressed, divorced, desperate to escape everything familiar. That man thought he could buy his way into a new life with his teacher's pension. He thought love and belonging could be purchased like tourist souvenirs. This man knows better. This man understands that survival, real survival, not just having enough money to pay bills, means learning to be useful in the place where you are. It means accepting help when you need it and giving help when you can. It means letting go of who you used to be and figuring out who you can become. People ask me if I regret coming here, if I wish I'd never met Niran, if I want to go back to Arizona. The answer isn't simple. I lost most of my money, got my heart broken, and had to rebuild my entire understanding of what it means to live in the world. But here's what I learned about survival. It's not about having enough money to buy your way out of problems. It's about adapting when those problems happen anyway. It's about finding your value when everything you thought made you valuable gets stripped away. I thought I was teaching English, but really I was learning how to be human again. Not the American version of human, just human. Sometimes late at night, lying on my mattress above the repair shop, listening to the city sounds that no longer seem foreign, I think about that coffee shop where I first met Niran. How hopeful I was, how certain that Thailand would save me from my ordinary American problems. Thailand didn't save me, but it taught me something more valuable. How to save myself. How to survive honestly when all your safety nets disappear. How to find your place in the world, not by trying to buy it or demand it, but by earning it one small job, one real friendship, one genuine conversation at a time. I'm 49 years old, living in a 10 by 10 room above a motorcycle repair shop in Bangkok. I make $800 a month doing jobs that didn't exist in my old life. I eat rice and vegetables from street vendors and drink beer with construction workers and fix computers for small business owners who pay me in cash. This isn't the life I planned, but it's the life I've built, and it's mine. Every baht of it earned, every friendship made without pretense, every small success achieved through actual work rather than just showing up with foreign money and expecting to be welcomed. That's the real lesson Thailand taught me. Survival isn't about getting back to where you were. It's about becoming someone who can handle where you are. And after 18 months of learning that lesson the hard way, I finally am.